is a Fox News alert. Major developments out of Washington. President Trump says he will declare a national emergency in order to build his border wall. You are looking live at the Senate floor, where lawmakers just passed a budget bill to avoid another partial government shutdown. It now heads to the House. The president says he will sign the bill and will then declare the national emergency. The White House describing the plan, saying, quote, President Trump will sign the government funding bill, and as he has stated before, he will also take other executive action, including a national emergency, to ensure we stop the national security and humanitarian crisis at the border. The president is once again delivering on his promise to build the wall, protect the border, and secure our great country. This move obviously comes with a lot of pushback from Democrats and could set up a major legal showdown. Here's Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi.
If President Trump decides to go forward with a disaster declaration, he'll be making a tremendous mistake.
Did I ever say I was filing a legal challenge?
You said Democrats.
I may. That's an option, and we'll review our options. But it's important to note that when the president declares this emergency, first of all, it's not an emergency. What's happening at the border? It's a humanitarian challenge to us. The president making an end run around Congress. Here he said, let us respect what the committee will do, and then walks away from it.
Tonight, facing an historic defeat by the Congress, President Trump is breaking the glass and pulling the fire alarm. The president will sign a border security bill that gives him but a fraction of what he wants for his wall. But to get the billions more he wants, the president plans to declare that a national emergency exists on the southern border. The House will vote on the bill to keep the government open later tonight. The Senate passed it this afternoon by a vote of 83 to 16. But before a single vote was cast, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell broke the news of the president's plans.
I've just had an opportunity to speak with President Trump, and he, I would say to all my colleagues, has indicated he's prepared to sign the bill. He will also be issuing a national emergency declaration at the same time. And I've indicated to him that I'm going to support the national emergency declaration.
Well, the bill to keep the government open provides $1.4 billion for 55 miles of new fencing, well short of the $5.7 billion the president wants. According to Reuters, a source familiar with the plan said that to get more money for the wall, quote, the White House had identified $2.7 billion in funds previously appropriated by Congress that could be redirected to barrier funding as part of a national emergency. In a joint statement, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer responded, quote, declaring a national emergency would be a lawless act, a gross abuse of the power of the presidency, and a desperate attempt to distract from the fact that President Trump broke his core promise to have Mexico pay for his wall. Well, it's not just Democrats objecting to Trump's declaration of a national emergency. In recent weeks, members of the president's own party have warned of the consequences.
I don't think he should do that. I think it's a bad precedent.
We got to be very careful about endorsing broad uses of executive power.
This would just be another erosion of congressional authority in this particular area.
The real concern that I have is the precedent that this then sets.
I think that's dubious from a constitutional perspective, and I hope that the president will not go that route.
Wow, I'm joined right now by Joy Reid, host of AM Joy and MSNBC, Jonathan Swan, national political reporter for Axios, Charlie Sykes, editor-in-chief of The Bulwark, and Paul Butler is a former federal prosecutor. Joy, I'm going to you first. What do you hear when he's breaking the glass? He's going national emergency. He's shooting the moon. He says, I can't get what I want from Congress. They're the appropriators. They control the purse strings. The hell with them. I'm declaring a national emergency. I'm going to go steal the money from forest fires or wherever I can find it. Your thoughts?
Well, I mean, as soon as I heard about this, just as a lot of us did, jump on the phone with Republican sources. And what I'm hearing back, Chris, is that it's pretty straightforward. The people that Donald Trump fears will take away support from him if he gets in a jam, people like Ann Coulter, people like Lou Dobbs, even Sean Hannity, had already gone out publicly and said that the deal that he is going to sign, and he was always going to sign, because they were definitely not going to shut the government down again, that it's not enough and that what he'd done was not good enough. And so what you now have is a president who fears looking weak. He fears being attacked by the Ann Coulters and the Lou Dobbs of the world. And so he's decided to make a demonstration of his fealty to his promise to build a wall across the southern border. He's going to go all out because he feels that he has to.
Let me
Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker
It's
of the
not
House, got up
consistent with
today
limited
at
government.
all. Nancy Pelosi got up today and she said, go ahead and do it, because a president with different values, as she said, might believe climate change or gun violence is a national emergency. You have now opened the door. Look, the reality is, Chris, Harry Truman tried to declare national emergency and seize a steel mill, and he was told no by the courts, and there was a war going on. It was during the Korean War. It's not as if presidents can even get away with it in that situation, and that's even before the National Emergencies Act.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes.